So we ran into a bug today when we were writing our program that switched scenes, and I want to point out the issue and then show you how we fix it. So notice the three buttons that I've created here, button 1, button 2, and button 3, all have the same X and Y coordinates, 158 and 250, 158 and 250, and 158 and 250. So even though those buttons are not drawn in every scene, they exist because we've created the new buttons, and so they all have basically the same inside mouse function. In other words, we're testing the same points. The reason this is an issue is at the bottom of our code, in our mouse click function, we've simply called all three of the mouse click handlers. So we check button 1, and we are inside button 1, so it does whatever button 1 says, which is to display scene 2. We check button 2, we're inside button 2, so it also displays scene 2. Even though the button's not on the screen, we're inside those parameters. Same thing with button 3, and so you'll notice when I click this button, I end back up at scene 1. Right? I can never get to the other scenes. Now, the fix is to simply put an if block in similar to the one we have in our draw function. So we only want to check for button 1 if current scene equals 1. Then we'll check for button 1. We only need to check the button that's shown in that scene. So if we're in scene 1, we'll just check for button 1 because it's the one displayed in the scene. We'll close that off, and then we'll do an else if. And we'll check for current scene. Check for current scene 2. The only button that's showing in current scene 2 is button 2. And then we'll check for scene 3. I'm trying to type quieter so that keystrokes aren't so loud. I don't know if it's going to matter or not. I think the keystrokes are right next to the microphone. So we check for current scene 3. If so, we'll check this button. Now if I restart this and I do the button click, even though the button's in the same place as the other one, it goes to the scene because it only checked for the handler number 1. Now we're in scene 2, it'll only check the handler number 2, and now we're in scene 3, and it'll only check scene 3, so that it functions properly. So in order to fix that bug where your buttons happen to be in the same location in different scenes, simply put an if block in, and if you're in current scene 1, only check the buttons that are associated with scene 1. If you're in scene 2, only check the buttons that are associated with scene 2. If you're in scene 3, only check the buttons that are in scene 3. Ooh, I have a text, so I better go check that. This is a short video. I just wanted to show you that that's the way we'll handle this. And as you know, we're going to keep working on this idea of changing scenes with buttons as we continue our game programming. Good luck.